Your encounters with the royals down the years. George is in Aberdeen next this morning. George OBE, I think. So I can see where this story is going. Morning, George.
Morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good today, thank you. Tell me about your meeting with the Queen.
Well, we actually were privileged to get an invitation to go to a private drinks reception at Buckingham Palace. Now, because we're a horsey family, I promised my wife that whilst there, I would take her for a trip round the stables and see the horses and the carriages, which is round the corner from Buckingham Palace. However, when we got there, we discovered that in the winter time they closed the stables. So when we were at this reception in the evening and I was chatting to Her Majesty, I joked with her and I said, I haven't actually come to see yourself. And she laughed and said, oh my dear. I said, well, I actually came to see your horses. And she said, well, and I said, but you've locked the stables up. So I said, I'm not very happy. And well, she laughed and she joked. And at the same time as that was happening, my wife was nudging me as if to say, well, you can't speak to the Queen like that.
You're going to end up in the Tower, George.
Well, I thought I was going to, because walking behind Her Majesty, of course, was a rather tall chap with a Buckingham Palace badge on. And as the Queen walked on, he leant over and said to me, he said, Mr. Walker, he said, do you have a mobile telephone number?
Uh-oh.
So I nervously gave him my telephone number. And anyway, the rest of the evening, my wife gave me into trouble for being so casual with Her Majesty, but we had a good laugh. However, the following morning, I get a call which said, Mr. Walker, I said, yes. He said, Peter Loughborough, we met at the palace last evening. And I thought, oh, here I go, I'm off to the Tower. He said, if it was acceptable, he said, for yourself and Mrs. Walker to be round at the stables for 11 a.m. this morning, Colin Henderson, our head horseman, would be delighted to take you on a private tour of the horses and the carriages, which we did, and we just had the most fabulous time seeing all the coaches and the horses. However, I think she actually appreciated the fact that we were just having a laugh with her, and it was wonderful, and she obviously arranged a tour for her, so well done, Her Majesty.
Yeah, and also that you shared a love of horses, because it's been such a big thing in her life, hasn't it?
Well, if you look at pictures of Her Majesty the Queen, the happiest pictures you will ever see, including recently from the Royal Windsor Horse Show, if she's with a horse, she's happy. She's an amazing lady, and she's happiest when she's got equines around about her.
George, did you get to take any photos when you were on this private tour of the stables and the carriages?
We did, yes, we did get some tours, and we did get some photographs and things. It was awesome. It was just the most amazing. We got to touch the state coach as well, you know, the gold coach, and got into lots of secrets about the gold coach. If you ever see the gold coach out, they only ever walk the horses because it's on what they call leather whip springs, and everybody that sits in it gets seasick if the horses go faster than a walk. And it was also interesting to see the car batteries underneath the carriages, because of course it can be very cold in these carriages, but they have little car batteries underneath the seats with little heaters on, which was fabulous.
Really? George, given your brass neck, I'm surprised you didn't get into the gold state carriage for your photo.
That's my next visit.
How do you feel about this weekend, this celebration weekend?
I think it's awesome. I think that she's an amazing lady. 70 years is it, but I also think it's great for the country, isn't it? You know, we've all had 2 years of hell. Everybody's been down in the dumps for lots of reasons. We've still got the cost of living and things to deal with. So to have a weekend where we can go out and have a bit of a party and celebrate an amazing lady, I think the timing couldn't be better.
Cheers, George.